All right, so today we're diving into something a little different.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a departure.
Yeah, we're not looking at, a study or a complex system or anything like that
Hmm.
today. Um,
Right.
Instead, we're going to be looking at a collection of birthday tributes written for Becca Lang on her 45th birthday.
That's right. March 27th, 2025, to be exact.
Yeah, so we've got Becca's 45th birthday tributes here,
Yeah.
and it's a really fascinating compilation of messages from her husband, Legrand, and their children.
We have Mia Brielle, Colby Sophie, who's actually currently serving a mission in New Zealand,
Wow.
Addie, and then even a really touching tribute from Cammie, the widow of their son, Brayden.
Yeah, and what's really cool about this is we get to, kind of get a glimpse into Becca's life through all these different perspectives of her family members.
Yeah, what are the qualities that really shine through in their words, right? And what kind of impact has she had on their lives?
Yeah, so it's a really unique opportunity to kind of understand someone through the eyes of those who know them best.
For sure.
So let's start with 9-year-old Mia's tribute. Um, she keeps it pretty simple and straightforward. She just says, Becca is the best mom in the whole entire world.
That's quite the declaration, isn't it?
Yeah,
And when you think about what she says, she mentions, the practical help with homework, which of course is important to a 9-year-old,
yeah.
but then also the support that Becca gives during like those harder
Yeah.
times, which, just makes you think about how crucial that is for a kid to have both someone that can help them with those, everyday tasks, but then also be there for them, when things get a little bit tougher.
Yeah, I think for a child to feel like their parent is the best,
Yeah.
it really speaks to being present,
Mm-hmm.
on multiple levels. The homework help is like that you're engaged in their daily life,
Right.
but the emotional support shows,
Mm.
a deeper connection
Right.
and that you're willing to be there, when it really matters.
Yeah.
And that I love, the hugs are like a big ball of sunshine coming and warming my heart. It's just like such a vivid image of comfort and love.
Yeah, and it really kind of like speaks to the physical, like manifestation of that care,
Right.
right? We talk about love languages, and obviously physical touch is a big one in their family.
Yeah.
And then Mia also goes on to detail, this consistent bedtime routine that they have. So they sing, they pray, they read, and relaxing music or sounds.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of predictability,
Yeah,
especially at bedtime, is so important for kids to feel secure and loved.
absolutely. It's like you said, it's not just about, getting her to sleep. It's about creating that loving and peaceful,
Yeah.
end to her day.
Yeah. And then Mia wraps up her tribute by noting her mother's, faithfulness, love, patience, kindness, and how Becca is such a great example.
It's interesting, isn't it, that even at 9 years old, those kind of core character traits
Yeah.
are so apparent to her
Yeah.
and so impactful. And, it really makes you wonder what Becca is doing so consistently to embody, these qualities in a way that's just so clear to her daughter.
Yeah. It definitely seems like these aren't just like abstract concepts
Right.
that she's talking about. Like she's seeing these lived out in her daily life.
Absolutely.
So moving on, we have 12-year-old Brielle.
Okay.
And she kind of echoes some of those same themes. She
Mhm.
also emphasizes Becca's kindness and helpfulness.
Yeah.
And she talks about her, helping her get ready for school every morning.
It's those consistent little things,
Still.
especially in the morning when things are usually hectic.
Right.
It really speaks volumes.
Yeah, those little acts of service
Yes.
can really go a long way.
Yeah, and like Mia, she also really appreciates Becca's genuine interest in her day. So, whether it's school or volleyball or, hanging out with friends, Becca really wants to know what's going on.
Yeah. It just shows that she's invested in all areas of her daughter's life.
Yeah, it's not just about the big events, it's the everyday things.
Right.
I think that genuine interest is really key.
Yeah.
It communicates value and care. And then Brielle also says that Becca is a shoulder to lean on, which emphasizes that she's always there and that she's reliable. Kind of echoes what Mia was saying about, being there during hard times.
Yeah. What do you think makes someone a reliable shoulder to lean on in a family?
I think it's a combination of like emotional availability
Uh-huh.
and also just having a track record of being there.
Right.
It's knowing that when things are difficult, you have someone who's going to listen without judgment and just offer support.
Right.
And it seems like Brielle really experiences that with Becca consistently.
Yeah.
And then she also mentions, really simple things like playing games or talking with her mom.
Yeah.
Just those everyday moments that really solidify their bond.
Yeah, I think those small moments of connection can be
Yeah.
so powerful.
Absolutely.
And then Brielle ends her tribute with deep love and gratitude for Becca's thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
So again, we see this theme of Becca being proactive and, caring and consider for her children's well-being.
Always thinking of others.
Yeah.
That's great.
So next we have 17-year-old Colby offering a teenager's perspective.
Teenager.
And he calls Becca the most amazing person I have ever known.
Wow.
Which, that's a pretty huge statement coming from, a young adult who's starting to, experience more of the world.
Right.
What do you think might lead a teenager to feel that way about their parent?
Well, I think at that age, teenagers are more aware, of the complexities of the world and the challenges that people face.
Yeah.
So for Colby to still see his mother as amazing,
Right.
it probably means that, she handles those challenges really well.
Yeah.
And the way that she interacts with other people is really something special. He highlights her strength and her bravery and the life lessons that she's taught him.
Right.
So it seems like she's been a guiding force, not just through her words, but through her actions and her own resilience.
Yeah, he also talks about, her ability to ease stress and, like, Mia finds comfort in her hugs.
Yeah.
And he says that he feels the spirit whenever he's around her.
Wow, that's powerful.
Which is a really profound statement.
Yeah.
It suggests such a deep emotional and maybe even spiritual connection
Yeah.
that he has with her.
Yeah.
Like a sense of peace and well-being when he's around her.
Uh-huh.
So he also emphasizes Becca's boundless love for everyone and how easy it is to feel.
You can just feel it emanating off of her.
Yeah, so, we're really starting to paint this picture of someone who radiates warmth and acceptance, and creates a safe and loving environment, not just for her immediate family, but for, those around her as well.
Yeah, it sounds like she's just a really special person.
Yeah, and then Colby also touches on, Becca teaching him life priorities and the importance of helping others.
It's so important to learn that at a young age.
Yeah, so again, we see this theme of leaning by example and instilling, strong values.
Yeah.
And then I love that simple statement, being around her makes me feel safe and loved.
Such a fundamental need.
Yeah. It really speaks to the core of what a good parent provides.
Absolutely.
And then he wraps it up by saying, her example is worth more than gold.
Wow.
So he's really placing a lot of value on her influence in his life.
Especially as he's going into adulthood.
Right.
So
now we turn to 20-year-old Sophie, who's currently serving a mission in New Zealand.
Okay.
And her tribute is incredibly detailed. It's like overflowing with emotion.
Even though she's so far away.
I know. It's really cool to see that their bond is so strong despite the distance.
For sure.
So she starts out by calling her mom among the most incredible people.
Quite the opening.
I know, right? And then she just goes on and on about all of her amazing qualities.
Like what?
Oh, she's funny, kind, patient, courageous, faithful, incredibly strong.
Wow, she's not holding back.
No, it's like she just has all of this admiration.
Yeah.
And she just wants to get it all out,
Put it all out there.
Yeah, and I love how she describes their relationship. She said she's my very best friend, my partner in crime, my ride or die, my counselor, comforter, advice giver, adventure buddy, and role model.
She's covered all the bases.
Oh, no, it's amazing. It speaks to such a multifaceted relationship built on trust and shared experiences and deep emotional connection.
Yeah, no, it really does. And she emphasizes both her inner and outer beauty.
Yeah.
Showing that Becca's amazing qualities aren't just about what she does, but it's who she is as a person.
Right.
And then Sophie also says that she wants to follow her mom's example in raising her own children.
Yeah.
And just living her life.
I mean, that's huge.
Right.
As a young adult who's on the cusp of building her own life and family.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest compliment you can give.
It really is, yeah.
And it's also really poignant when Sophie acknowledges that, Becca has endured pain and heartache.
Right.
But has still chosen to face life with courage and hope and unwavering faith in Jesus Christ.
It gives us a glimpse into Becca's own resilience.
Yeah.
In the face of adversity.
Right.
And how she models healthy coping mechanisms for her children.
Yeah, absolutely. And she really emphasizes how Becca's strong faith isn't just, a belief system.
Right.
It's something that informs her actions and her guidance.
Yeah, it guides her life.
Yeah. And Sophie calls her mom a Christ-like person
Wow.
and even draws direct parallels between her mom's attributes and those of Jesus Christ.
It really shows how much she admires her mother
Yeah.
and how important that spiritual foundation is in their relationship.
Yeah, and Sophie's gratitude for having Becca as her mom is just so profound,
Uh-huh.
especially when she says, you know, many people don't have that blessing.
Yeah.
And I love that she keeps talking about her hugs as literally magical.
It's a powerful image.
I know, like capable of diminishing problems.
Yeah.
It's clearly a source of comfort and reassurance for all of her children.
Yeah. And then there's this little funny anecdote
Oh, yeah.
about Becca accidentally massaging her shoulder.
I know.
It's just a nice little touch of humor.
Yeah.
It reminds us that even in these like really loving relationships, there are these lighthearted everyday moments that strengthen their bond.
Totally.
And then Sophie goes on to list, all these instances of comfort and reassurance and counsel that Becca has given her for both big and small matters.
It's amazing.
Right.
It really highlights how Becca is just constantly there for her kids, no matter what.
Yeah, she's a constant presence in her life.
And what I think is really cool is that she even acknowledges the bittersweet aspect of Becca seeing her children grow up and leave home.
Yeah.
But, she appreciates that her mom encourages her to have new experiences.
That's such a selfless part of parenting.
It really is, recognizing that it's natural to want to keep your kids close.
Yeah.
But also wanting them to, grow and be independent.
Right.
Takes a lot of maturity.
It does.
And then she compares it to the Savior's love and letting them be in the world.
Wow.
So, she's really drawing these parallels between her mom's love and the Savior's love.
Yeah, and I think that really speaks to the depth of her understanding of her mother's love.
Right.
And then she wraps it up by saying that Becca's an incredible role model for many people.
Yeah.
She lists all the different roles that she plays, in the family and the community.
Yeah.
And reiterates that she's approachable and that words really can't express how grateful she is for all of Becca's amazing qualities.
Yeah, so it's an incredibly comprehensive and heartfelt tribute.
Definitely.
So, moving on to 21-year-old Addie.
Okay.
Her message is also filled with love and admiration.
Uh-huh.
She calls Becca her best friend and the most beautiful, loving, and kind person I have ever met.
Wow.
And I think the phrase best friend coming from an adult child really speaks volumes.
It does.
About the level of trust and connection that they have.
It really suggests a relationship that's built on mutual respect, open communication, shared understanding. It goes beyond the typical parent-child dynamic.
Right.
And then she emphasizes Becca's selflessness, thoughtfulness, service orientation.
Yeah, again, we see this theme of Becca always putting others first.
Right.
It's a really strong indicator of her character.
It really is.
And then Addie shares that Becca is the person she turns to for laughter tears or just talking.
Yeah.
So she's a constant source of support.
Yeah, for the whole spectrum of human emotions.
Yeah, and she says that she feels like the luckiest daughter, knowing that her mom always has her back.
I love that.
So, again, that sense of security and love.
Yeah, that unwavering support can be such an anchor in navigating the uncertainties of life.
Absolutely.
And then there's this phrase that Addie shares that Becca would always tell her as a child. You're beautiful inside and out.
Yeah, that's powerful.
I know, it's so impactful, and it clearly instilled in Addie a deep sense of self-worth and an appreciation for inner beauty, which now, as an adult, she recognizes as perfectly describing her own mother.
Yeah, it makes you think about those early messages that we give our kids.
Yeah, those things stick with you.
Yeah. So next up, we have Caleb, Addie's husband.
Oh, so we're getting a son-in-law's perspective here.
Yes, and his praise for Becca's unconditional love and support, especially during hard times, and her non-judgmental nature is really touching.
It is.
Shows that she welcomes her children's partners into the family.
Yeah, and that she extends that unconditional love to, their spouses as well.
Right.
Which is really important in creating, a strong and supportive family unit.
Totally. And he says that she wants everyone to feel loved, appreciated, and valued.
Yeah.
Which, fits in perfectly with what we've been hearing about her.
Right.
She's just a really caring person.
Yeah.
And he also talks about her consistent care and genuine concern for him and Addie.
Uh-huh.
So it's not just her own children, that she shows this to.
Right.
And then he says that she's one of the funniest people he knows.
Oh, that's great.
And he shares this hilarious anecdote.
Oh, really?
So it's just a really nice touch to
Yeah.
see that she brings, joy and laughter
Yeah.
into their lives.
Yeah, because humor can really be a powerful bonding agent, in relationships.
Right.
And it just adds another dimension to her personality.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he concludes by calling her one of his best friends and the absolute best mother-in-law.
Oh, that's nice.
I know. So it's really cool to see such a strong and positive relationship.
Yeah. And kind of defies those stereotypes that we sometimes hear.
Really?
So now we have the tribute from Cammie Brady's widow.
Yeah, this one is really special.
Yes.
Her words carry such weight.
Yeah.
And they're filled with love and gratitude
Yeah.
for Becca, even after experiencing such a huge loss.
Right.
And I think that really speaks volumes about the strength and compassion of the entire family.
It does.
So Cammie starts out by dispelling any negative stereotypes about mothers-in-law.
Okay.
She calls Becca an angel.
Wow.
So, right off the bat,
Yeah.
we know this is going to be a very heartfelt and respectful tribute.
Right.
And she talks about Becca's genuineness,
Yeah.
her loving eyes,
Yeah.
and those warm, tight hugs,
Wow.
that convey so much love.
Yeah.
And she even connects Brady's genuineness to Becca's influence.
Oh, wow.
So, we're seeing those traits that were passed down and how
Yeah.
important those positive qualities are to their family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she talks about, Becca's genuine interest in how everyone's doing
Yeah.
and her huge mom heart,
Mm-hmm.
filled with love and patience,
Right.
qualities that clearly extend to Cammie
Mm-hmm.
and have been a source of comfort, during a difficult time.
Yeah. And then she gives some examples of Becca's charity,
Yeah, like what?
like helping them pack and move or being present at, kids' activities
Yeah.
while still, managing all of her other responsibilities.
Right, so she's always willing to lend a hand, and she's always there to support them.
Yeah. And then she goes on to say that Becca was raised in righteousness and chose to follow a path of kindness and love.
Yeah.
So it's not just accidental.
Right.
This is who she is.
Right, she's intentionally choosing to live this way.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Cammie talks about how much she admires that Becca only speaks well of others.
Yeah.
She describes her as light and uplifting.
Uh,
And she even mentions that Becca has a THINK acronym sign in her house.
think, what does that stand for?
So it stands for True, Helpful, Inspiring, Necessary, Kind.
I love that.
I know. And it really shows, the values that she prioritizes in her communication.
It's like a practical reminder
Yeah.
to always communicate in a positive way.
Right. And then Cammie also deeply admires Becca's testimony and love for Jesus Christ and her unwavering faith and reliance on him,
Yeah.
especially, in navigating life's burdens.
Right.
And it's really cool to see how this spiritual foundation plays such a significant role
Uh-huh.
in Becca's strengths and resilience.
Yeah.
She also beautifully describes Becca's role in, gluing the family together.
No.
And her peace that comes from trusting in God during trials.
That's beautiful.
And then she talks about her love for the temple and how they go on family temple trips,
Oh, wow.
even in the midst of vacations.
It really shows how important her faith is to her.
Yeah, and how she prioritizes those spiritual connections with
Yeah.
her family.
And then she talks about how Becca's strong testimony fosters hope and faith in her own life.
Right.
So it's like Becca's example
Yeah.
is really powerful for her.
Yeah, and especially during a time of grief and loss.
Right.
It's really inspiring to see how Becca's faith has helped her through.
For sure. And then she reiterates Becca's inner and outer beauty, her sweet smile, her happy eyes, and ultimately her Christ-like example.
Yeah.
It's a really moving testament to Becca's impact on Cammie's life. And you know how she's really become a part of the family?
Totally.
So finally, we have the tribute from LeGrand Becca's husband of nearly 26 years,
Yeah.
and his gratitude for her as an incredible mother, adored by their children, a source of strength during difficult times. It just really shines through in his words.
It does, and it's really special to see that after so many years together,
Yeah,
he still has so much appreciation for her.
it speaks volumes.
Yeah, and he acknowledges, the hardships of life and expresses his deep appreciation for her loving patience
Yeah.
and what he calls her magical touch, enlightening his load.
That echoes what her kids were saying
Yeah.
about her ability to comfort and ease their burdens.
Right, and he describes her as forgiving kind, steady show wise, and a true friend to all,
Wow.
especially to him.
What a beautiful way to describe the woman he loves.
I know, it's really sweet. It's like a perfect summary of those foundational qualities
Yeah.
that have sustained their long marriage
Yeah.
and made her such an important figure in their family.
Right.
He also talks about how she selflessly sacrificed personal desires
Uh-huh.
to follow their family's spiritual path,
You know.
which really shows her commitment to their shared values
Yeah.
and the well-being of their family.
Absolutely.
And then he talks about her courage in embracing new adventures with joy, faith, and love for God and family,
Right.
which again just shows her positive and resilient spirit.
Absolutely.
And Legrand also appreciates her ability to offer, different, wiser, more positive perspectives.
Yeah.
So he's recognizing her guidance and influence in his own life.
Yeah.
And then he talks about her incredible strength in helping him navigate the pain of Brayden's death.
That's got to be so hard,
I know.
to lose a child.
Yeah, and it really shows her resilience and unwavering support,
Yeah.
during such a difficult time.
For sure. And that kind of shared grief and mutual support can either, break a relationship or strengthen it in a really powerful way. And then he shares this humorous memory about a failed, spontaneous beach trip,
Oh,
which is just such a nice touch of levity,
yeah.
and reminds us that even in these really loving relationships, there are these real imperfect,
Yeah.
often funny moments that
make up
pull
a
life
life.
together.
And he ends by expressing his love and gratitude
Yeah.
for everything she does for him and their family.
That's beautiful.
So it's just this really beautiful collection of tributes, that speaks to the deep love and connection they share.
Yeah, and it really does come full circle.
Yeah.
We started with Mia saying the best mom in the whole entire world.
Yeah.
And now Legrand is saying, how much he loves and appreciates her.
Yeah. It's really cool to see all these different perspectives.
Yeah, so, as we reflect on this collection of tributes,
Yeah.
several key themes emerge. The love that Becca has for her family
Yeah.
and the love that they have for her is undeniable.
Right. That's the foundation of everything.
Exactly. And kindness, radiates through every single message, highlighting her actions toward everyone in her life.
Right. And we also see this incredible strength,
Yeah.
both in facing her own challenges and in supporting her family
Yeah.
through theirs.
Right. And then faith is also a really important principle
Yeah.
in Becca's life.
Yeah.
And she uses that to shape her values
That's
and
right.
inspire those around her.
Yeah. And support in all its forms.
Mm.
Emotional, practical,
Yeah.
spiritual,
Yeah.
a constant theme throughout these tributes.
Yeah. And her positive influence on her children and her husband
Yeah.
is undeniable. She serves as a really great example for them to follow.
Right. And that deep personal connection
Yeah.
that each family member feels with Becca
Mm-hmm.
is so evident,
Yeah, it's palpable in their words.
Yeah,
It's really remarkable to witness the impact that one person can have on so many lives.
it really is.
Becca is clearly the heart of this family, a constant source of light and love and strength.
Absolutely. And I think the inclusion of Brayden through Kemi's tribute
Yeah,
is especially poignant.
it is.
It reminds us that love and family bonds endure
Yeah,
even in the face of loss.
yeah. And it shows Becca's compassion, and
Yeah.
that she's not just a mother, but a central figure who nurtures and supports her extended family
Yeah.
through all of life's challenges.
Yeah, it really speaks to the depth of her love
It does.
and her empathy.
Absolutely.
So as we conclude this deep dive into Becca's 45th birthday tributes,
Yeah.
we're left with this really powerful and inspiring reminder of the impact that love and kindness and faith and support can have within a family.
Absolutely. And it brings us to a final thought for you.
Okay.
As you've listened to these heartfelt expressions of love and gratitude for Becca,
Yeah.
take a moment to reflect on the individuals in your own life
Yeah.
whose consistent love and support have shaped who you are.
Yeah.
What qualities do they possess that have had such a lasting impact?
Right. And how can you express your own gratitude for their presence and influence in your life?
That's a great point.
That's in those personal connections that we find strength and inspiration and really the truest reflection of what it means to be human.
Well said. Thank you. So that's it for today's deep dive.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
Bye.